Hello everyone, Alton Patterson here. I'm joining you from the island of North Cyprus. Excited as always to be here with you. Most importantly, I have an opportunity to pull someone off their busy schedule to share some time with you. And I think it's equally as important to know that what this gentleman has to say, you want to be sure that you're sitting down, pause this recording if needs be, so that way you are fully attentive to the information. It is equally as important as your success with the company. Well, who am I speaking about? None other than our very dear friend, our partner in success, the CEO of CashFlow NFT and Bellator Lifestyle. Yep, if you said Mr. Micah Theard, you are absolutely correct. So joining me this evening is none other than the man himself. I was about to say the myth, but you know what? As we grow, he will become an icon in the industry. So, Mr. Theard, how are you doing?
I am doing great, Alton. Thank you so much for that lovely introduction. You built me up very well there, so of course I'm going to enjoy that.
Hey, listen, it's just excited to have an opportunity to be here with you. I am in your home. Guys, it is absolutely amazing. I can't believe I'm sitting in a place that was purchased with crypto.
Yep.
Yes, you heard that right. With crypto. Yes. I've heard about it all the time on the calls, but to actually be here, the wall, I just thought the wall was a backdrop. It's real, ladies and gentlemen. It is real. All right.
The famous wall.
The famous wall. My guys, I'm sitting here. There might be someone who is listening to this call today. It might be a year from today, 5 years from today, and they're wondering who is the CEO. You know, as a small company at this point, and we are growing very fast now. Many people won't have an opportunity to meet you unless they come to an event, they come to the island, they'll hear from you. So we want to know, who is Micah Theard? How did you get involved with crypto? What inspired you, most importantly, to start CashFlow, to give us an opportunity to become shareholders? And what inspired you to start Bellator? That's like a multi-layered question, but I'm throwing it at you. I'm just excited.
Well, I think at the core of things, I think when you say who is Micah Theard is a person in the world who has always had this drive for having as much freedom in his life as possible. As a young kid, my family split up and I ended up on the other side of the world. My dad was in Los Angeles, my mother was in Sweden. And, we were able to visit, me and my sister, every summer we'd visit, our father. So I was on a plane at a very early age. I experienced two cultures simultaneously. So my dad, grew up kind of in the black community in LA, and so I had an identity there. And then my mother in a very conservative, blue-collar Swedish family. It was completely two different realities. And I saw the two, and I saw how different they were. And I think that added to my drive for what I wanted in life. I, of course, loved to travel. Loved the experience of seeing these two cultures, these two countries. Coming back to Sweden, sharing with my friends. I was at Disneyland and I went to the premiere of Star Wars and they were so that became part of my identity and I always wanted to keep that in my life. So one of the reasons that I never went for sort of the corporate career was in the States at the time, you worked for a corporation, you were working 50 weeks out of the year, and they'll give you, a week out of jail, in a sense, is how I saw it. So I was always pursuing freedom, being able to have choice. And I got fortunate in my early 20s that I started working as an actor, and I'd shoot a TV commercial. They'd run that thing for, a year, 2 years, and I had passive income. So I've always been in that sort of place of being able to, on a dime, say, okay, I'm just going to take off to Miami this week and hang out. I was always able to do these things. And maybe in the early days, I didn't realize that was a very unique thing. But as I matured and grew older and I started to understand what other people were doing, I was like, wow, I never lived that life. But I really designed it maybe somewhat unconsciously for my life to be that way. But I believe you can manifest things, I certainly never saw myself, as you introduced me, as a CEO of a company per se. This kind of just sort of happened over the last 3 years, and I've learned a lot about it. I wouldn't say I'm the best at it, but I'm doing, what I can to, help Miracle and help Bellator succeed in the world. And there's a lot of moving parts. There's a ton of people that are involved. You can't control it, so you just kind of gotta, function inside of everything that's moving. And especially when you're talking about crypto, and you're talking about websites and technology. Every day is another day, and you're always solving, problems.
Right.
That's kind of what a company is. It's a problem-solving machine.
And it's so easy for people to, those who got started in the beginning, they're understanding the journey. I say to my friends now, you get to come in and enjoy the fruits of my frustration. For things that have happened with Micah coming in place, things have had to move back. So timelines that were set had to move, and that happens. However, as a shareholder, I understand that as the company goes, so does my investment. As the company expands, so does the value of my investment. So I think it is so important. So what got you so excited? I know CWS is part of the history of where it all got started. So why did you choose to give others an opportunity that many would never have a chance to be involved in, like what we have with CashFlow and Bellator?
Well, it's one of those maybe surreal things that, when we first started, like CWS, which is Crypto Wealth Society, it was bringing people together to learn about crypto on Zoom, on a Saturday. And we started with less than 10 people. And we made a mission statement, that one day this community will be all over the world. We'll have events, and we'll have famous people speaking at the events.
Yes, that is happening.
And, I said, well, maybe we have a timeline that we learn this industry in 3 to 5 years, our community collectively becomes wealthy. And I said, we'll grow strong, and then there'll be companies that want us to launch them, And I was saying this, and we were less than 10 people on the call. And I don't know what sort of had me do that, but I felt like we're here for a reason. We want to be here for a reason. And what's really amazing is all of these things have come true. And so I'm sort of willing to bet that the community becoming wealthy together also comes true, because everything has happened. And, it's just one of those things that I'm witnessing, sort of almost objectively third party, saying, wow. Thinking back to that time when I sat in Sweden on a Zoom call saying these things, and then fast forward to this moment, what we are and what we have. We have launched a company, but not just any company, a company that has the opportunity and the position to be able to be a leader in this industry of crypto and blockchain. Can we guarantee the future? No, but we're in a position to actually become a leader in a industry that's really on its way to disrupt the financial industry. There's trillions of dollars at stake here, and we just need to get a small piece, and we will literally have some of our affiliates that we have. When we do the math, we could have affiliates become a billionaire. So when I first saw Miracle, when Hakan was presenting it to me, he spoke differently. He was talking about crypto, but he spoke differently, and he was talking about regulation and insurance. And I was like listening to him, and I was sitting in Cyprus, mind you, and I was just like, what? How am I watching this here? Because I got a sense that what he was presenting to me was this company that could become a big company, a worldwide company. But I'm like, it was so odd that it was happening in Cyprus, Right. So that's the thing that was odd to me. But I followed up with that, and there was something about it. that I needed to continue to pursue it. And there were people that were trying to stop me from teaming up with Hakan. I remember they brought me to this office, sat me down, and they put a picture in front of me. And they said, look, it's Hakan in handcuffs. And I looked at it and I was like, oh, because I was so excited about Miracle. And then I saw this picture of Hakan in handcuffs, and they said, he's a crook. And I was like, oh, don't tell me. And I was, I had no reason to think that anything was wrong. And I was just looking at the picture and I was like, I was so excited about this company and I was so excited about what he was showing me. But yeah, look, he's in handcuffs, and went home really depressed for a couple of days. And then I got a call from this girl that I had met one time in Istanbul. And she said, I don't know if you think this is weird or whatever, but I have a message for you. And she said, I just get this message that I'm supposed to tell you. You're supposed to take your business into countries. And I listened to her, and I was like, into countries? What does that mean? And Miracle at the time was a franchise. And you would invest and own a country. That's how the model was.
Right.
So at that moment I said, maybe I should continue to vet and investigate and look at this, because maybe the people that are saying this to me, maybe they have an agenda to stop me from pursuing this opportunity. And I said, if I do a long vetting, it's like 6 months, I think I'll know enough about the company. I can look at the tech, I can ask him to show me the contracts, I can ask him to show me everything. And if it all is there, then, I'll know the difference between someone trying to fake me out and a real thing. And after 6 months, he had showed me everything, all the contracts, and I knew that he was for real. And I started to get to know him better. And, and finally I was like, he's real. I don't know what the picture was about, but he is definitely a successful, good guy. And then one day I just said to him, I said, they were trying to deter me from working with you, and they showed me these pictures, and he just looked at me. He's like, wow. He said, I'm so impressed that with them doing that, you still continue to pursue this, because most people would have probably walked away. And then he explained to me that was just an incident that happened in his life, that he was providing a payment service to a gaming company. So he wasn't the gaming company, he was a third party to the gaming company. They broke the rules, and he got roped into the situation, which he couldn't control it. He didn't know what they were doing, but they made him responsible. He got a slap on the hand over it. He didn't really get fully accused of that, but he was involved, and the picture and everything, and that can happen to anyone, right? Anyone can have a bad day or be in a bad situation, and that happens. But what I've learned over these 3 years is I've really discovered that there's a lot of sharks out there. There's a lot of people out there that have bad intentions. They're there to hurt you. They're there to hurt you financially. They're there to take stuff from you. They don't want anything good for you. Because I'm in this role, there are people that profit from negativity. There are people that profit from saying bad things about you, especially online, because they attract traffic, they make money on it. And there's a lot of people who have been fooled by negative press about our project. And I would say that people who end up being pulled in by the negativity, what happens is that particular website or that particular thing is stealing that person's opportunity from them.
Absolutely.
So we have a certain responsibility that we need to understand. How do you actually do research on a company? Is it just Googling it, and then once you see something bad, you've done the job, and now it's done. I found something bad. we have to start off knowing that there are reasons other than trying to protect you from bad investments. There are people out there with reasons to want to say something bad about something good that will actually be the thing that's stealing from you.
Right.
If you had decided back in 2011, I'm going to go buy some Bitcoin, and your best friend goes to you and says, "Oh, you an idiot! You shouldn't do that. Do you know that it's a Ponzi?" And it shows you an article about Bitcoin is a Ponzi and it's fake and it's bad. And you decide not to do that. And you had $1,000 allocated towards Bitcoin. That person stole from you $100 million because that's what that opportunity would have turned out for you. And you had already made up your mind. And that article, that person's opinion, stole that from you, took that from you. So we should have, when we start this process of doing due diligence, we should do it professionally, not as an amateur. An amateur Googles, finds something bad, and says, "Oh, that company's bad." The source, they have not even checked the credibility of the source. You have to check the credibility of the source because there's many reasons other than trying to protect you from making a bad investment that they do that. So what's great now, Alton, is the industry we're in is regulated.
And that's what I wanted to, because I'm glad that you addressed the elephant in the room. Do you agree? I'm sure there are many times you have shared this opportunity. You might have had someone on an overview. They're listening in, they have their business mind. However, at the very same time that they are listening to the presentation, what I have experienced also, someone is on their phone, they're busy doing Google, but that's not due diligence. So I'm glad you bring that up because there are many people who have seen these things on the internet. They're not Googling the source. They're just Googling, and whatever information comes up, it is set in stone. And it doesn't make sense. So I am so glad that you addressed that, because it doesn't matter if you're watching this recording today or if you're watching it 2 years or 5 years from today, the information is still on social media. So my question to you, because we already addressed it, is what makes us different? Because there's many of these things that's listed there. Oh, the company won't have this. Oh, guess what? We now have it. Oh, the company is not going to make this happen. Guess what? We have it. So what was discussed has come to pass. Are you with me, ladies and gentlemen? So, Micah, with a smile, what makes us...
Before we go in here, let me... I hate people that eat pork. They're disgusting people. People who eat pork are disgusting people. I absolutely hate them. I want nothing to do with them. Would you have guessed that I had bacon this morning? No. If you accuse someone else of doing something, that specific thing, they will never think you are doing yourself. So someone accusing someone of something bad, you never think, and this is a human condition, we do not think that that person would ever do that. It's a 2-layer thing that happens there. If I accuse someone of something and I say I hate these kind of people and I am that person, it'll take forever before you suspect that I'm that person.
Yeah.
So that's how it works. Now, what happened with me is that once I became, someone who was representing something, then there are websites out there that make money because people will Google me and they will say scam or whatever, and they will pull that up, they'll get the traffic, they'll make money off of that. And how they do that is basically if the company was fraudulent and I happen to have mentioned that company, they make that connection and they make me the perpetrator even though I was technically the victim. So every single thing they've said, he was in this, he was in that, was us trying new things in crypto and thinking crypto is magic and, there's so much money in crypto and it grows and, I saw something. Me being naive, but I did participate in some of the programs and mention them here or there.
I saw something that it said you were the owner of a company, this particular company.
Yeah, no.
And I knew who the owner was. I didn't even know who Micah was at the time, right?
I've never been an owner until now.
And someone shared it with me. I was like,
Yeah,
really?
Yeah. So it's very easy to do. All I'm saying, Alton, is it's very easy to do that. It doesn't take anything. It's like going in and writing something on a bathroom stall. You know, Alton is a murderer. You know, I can do that. No one's going to stop me. And then someone's going to come in, read it, and then, you know, they may think that that's true or not. But it's as easy as that online. You can do that. What is not easy and what you can't do is get a license in this industry without being the real deal. You can't achieve that unless you are the real deal, because the money that it takes to get into position to pass that rigorous vetting by the government, no scam company can do that. It takes millions of dollars. It takes the highest level of excellence, because your systems have to be secure. You have to have your own anti-money laundering policy written up. You have to have your company correct and registered. They do very, very thorough vetting of the owners, because governments, money laundering, you know, bad things like terrorism, it's all in there. They have to be sure when you handle crypto, when you handle money, that you're not one of those bad actors. So they vet you that way. Right. So when you achieve it, it's like you're never going to walk into a bank and say, "Are you guys, you know, here in this bank doing illegal things?" You're not going to do that, because you have an understanding that if you have a banking license, there's institutions that look at you very, very intently, in detail, every day, because there's rules and there's regulations and laws around that. So we are currently doing crypto to cash transactions in Amsterdam.
Yes, we are.
That tells a story that is so much more, has so much more weight than a random website written by an anonymous person saying things about us that has some truths in it, and then it adds the negativity in a certain way. It's very easy to do that. You can make anybody look in any way. You just got to, like, you know, work with it a little bit. But no one, there's no company, and I predict this, there'll be no company in this industry of crypto network marketing that will ever have a license such as what we have. And we have, we have 2 licenses that we're the first in Europe with: crypto to cash transactions and crypto payment gateway. No other company has that. So, are you going to be the person that allows an anonymous person to steal your opportunity? To steal that from you, like similar to how you were going to invest $1,000 in Bitcoin, and had you had it today, it would have been $100 million? Are you going to allow an anonymous person who has many reasons to attack us, other than the reason of trying to protect you from a bad investment, right? So someone's going to go out and build a website to protect someone that they don't know from a bad investment. Most likely the purpose of the website is their own gains. They're up to something. Right. But that against a license in this industry is a simple observation of someone who's really knows this industry and knows how it works. Hands down, you cannot be a scam company and have this license. It doesn't happen.
I love how you're pointing this out, for the mere fact, when I heard about getting an opportunity to become a shareholder in the company, there was only 4 options. There is the exchange, ATM, the shares into countries. I always forget what's the 4th one. However, today as we sit here, there's 22 different entities under the umbrella. The company now is about to go public on the NASDAQ, OTC. We have the Miracle Bank. There's Miracle Estate. There's the Phoenix Era.
Well, it's each country. Like UK has a company. Germany has a company. Holland has a company. Italy has a company. 2 or 3 companies in Portugal. We have a company in Nevada. All of this, there's 22 altogether, you know. That doesn't actually speak that there's anything else going on here but a company that is on its way to becoming a big powerhouse in the crypto industry.
Wow. You know, I believe that we have touched on so much in such a short space of time. And I believe you have answered the questions that many have, but might be scared to ask, or they have asked someone who shared this with them. However, they didn't feel comfortable with the answer. And I believe that you have covered it. For those who are looking at the company right now to make a decision, that's looking at this and they're really wrapping their mind around all that you have said, what in closing would you like to share with them to say, hey, we're not only here, we're different, we're a unicorn. I always recommend to people to read the book Blue Ocean Strategy, and it's all about finding the problem, coming up with a solution. And I believe that's what we have found here with Miracle, CashFlow, and Bellator, which we're going to touch on in another video, guys. Not this one. I think I've kept him long enough here. He needs to get some rest. All right, work with me here, guys. Work with me. So in closing, what would you like to share with someone who is looking at us? They're looking to purchase some packages, some tokens, nodes. What
I
would you
want
say?
people to go into this with the right mindset. I think that's the key, you know, because we've been battling mindset for the 3 years. And I think it's reasonable to maybe expect that something's going to happen. If you put $5,000 in and you're supposed to make $6,000-7,000 or, you know, a 30% profit or, you know, something like that, it's maybe reasonable to expect that that starts to happen in the first year.
Right.
But if you're turning 5,000 into 100,000, 200,000, $500,000 or whatever, then it does take time. You know, if you're going to win big with Bitcoin and you bought it in 2011, for you to get rich, you would have to wait 5 to 7 years. 5 to 7 years.
That's correct.
Even though there's, you know, there has been that tremendous success in Bitcoin. Success in Bitcoin, for those who really got it, were the patient ones. The ones that weren't patient, they bought it for $100 and sold it for $200. They made 100% of the money. They felt like, wow, I really did it, you know? But the ones that truly made out well were the ones that were in 5, 7, 6, 7 years, or the ones who are still holding. Now they're never selling, they're just taking loans against the value of their Bitcoin. So looking at our project, it is a huge upside type project. But you want to have patience. You want to understand that that kind of win, taking 5,000 and getting 100,000, takes time. We wanted to move a lot faster than we have, but in reality, no project like this can go in there and take over the industry in a year or 2 years. It's not reality as far as like the turnaround time, because people got in here to really do well, to take 5,000 to make 100 or 200 or more than that. And so I would say this is real business. We're competing against, everything else that can provide a service such as ours, and we're there to be the best at it, and we have a great plan for it. But come into this and understand that we will, over time, continue to grow and become stronger, and in that, your money here, I believe, is better than anywhere else you can put it today. If you just look at it, having a licensed company,
Absolutely.
8 years old, in an industry that's $1 trillion industry, and an industry is about to be disrupted by this technology, there's so many signs here that can give you that position that you missed in 2011 when you didn't buy Bitcoin. There's an opportunity there by reading what happened somewhere else and understanding that this is a story being repeated, but you have more evidence of what can happen here.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, you have heard it firsthand. Sitting here with the CEO, the Visionaire behind CashFlow and Bellator, Mr. Mike Theard. You know, what I'll say to you is life is changing. Growth is optional. Choose wisely. On behalf of Mr. Micah Theard and myself, Alton Patterson, we look forward to seeing you here on the island in Cyprus. We look forward to seeing you on the beaches of the world. And as always, may God continue to richly bless each and every one. Bye-bye.